it has been a little while since I have really done anything as like a, regular video on YouTube, but just a topic I wanted to really get into today. And that is using the MPC with external synthesizers. So I guess what I'm gonna try to do today is, so basically my main method of using the MPC is, a lot of times I'll use it in standalone, but if I'm like in this setting at my home studio, basically what I'm doing is I'm probably going to use the MPC in controller mode because I have these external synthesizers, and it just gives me like way more flexibility. Like there's no reason for me to like really be in standalone like when I have all this other gear, and then like I can use my plugins. And really, I don't even have to look at my computer. I can just like focus on my MPC. I can focus on my synths. Like I don't have to really like turn to my computer for much of anything unless I'm dealing with plugins. So kind of what I want to show you today is just basically my workflow with the MPC in controller mode using synthesizers. And then like I guess I'll kind of go through like some of my I'm just gonna go through all the routing, so like the MIDI and the audio, and I'm gonna show you step by step exactly how I do it. So first, what I'm gonna do is, right now my MPC is in standalone, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm opening up the MPC software on my computer. So yeah, so anyways, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you all the routing for MIDI and for audio that I do when using 1, 2, 3 main synthesizers. Mainly I'm using this Korg Wavestate, this Microfreak, and this Monologue. Occasionally I will use this. That is a Korg Volca FM. And this is a Korg, I don't know if it's focusing. No, it's not. That is a Korg Volca key. Like I said, I have my synthesizers, and then I have like a couple different audio devices. Like, first off, I want to mention your MPC is actually an audio interface and is a MIDI interface. Okay, so that is extremely helpful in my scenario. Okay, and then I have this 6-channel mixer right here. It's a Behringer Xenix Q802. So it's got 2 XLR inputs, then it's got so 2 XLRs, and then it's got a stereo channel. So that's 1, 2, 3 together. This is an 8-channel mixer, okay? And then I have this Universal Audio Volt 276 here. I have a Focusrite. It's a solo, so it's an XLR and a line. And then over here, I have a Zoom H5 that I use mainly for recording into my DSLR, or I use it for the microphone, honestly, on it is fucking amazing. Alright, so guys, I'm gonna go over this first. This is the back of my MPC, okay? So you see, this is MIDI out, this is MIDI out, and this is MIDI in, okay? So these 2 outs right here, this one is going to my Korg Wavestate via 5-pin. There's the Korg, let me put the light on there. Okay, 5 pins going in, and then I also got a 5-pin going out because that's what this is right here. Okay, and then my other 5-pin out is going to that guy right there, and that's the Korg Monologue. Okay, and then the Microfreak right there, I'm using USB MIDI for that, because that does not have a 5-pin jack on it, okay? So what I got going on here now, right, is I showed you that I have all the MIDI for the synthesizers basically routed into the MPC, except the Microfreak, which I'm using USB MIDI for, okay? Now the audio for these synthesizers is going into this 8-channel mixer, okay? So I'm going to show you now how in the MPC software, how to route all of this, right? How to use your MPC's audio, the mixer's audio, how to use 2 audio interfaces and all this MIDI, and how to get it to all work in the MPC software at once, okay? So if you're on a MacBook, I don't know how to do this on a PC, but on a Mac, you're going to go into your apps, to your launchpad, and type in audio, and this app called Audio MIDI is going to come up. And I'm going to drag this audio MIDI into this window so you can see. Okay, so this is audio MIDI. So on Mac, you have this ability to create something called an aggregate device. What an aggregate device does is it basically will take multiple audio devices such as interfaces, mixers, field recorders, anything that can take an analog audio signal and put it into your computer, to your MacBook. It will take that audio signal and turn it into an input or an output signal. So in this case, I'm going to be using the MPC's audio, the mixer's audio, and then I can also use the Focusrite and the Universal Audio Interface audio as well. I can select which one of those inputs and outputs I want to include in this aggregate device, which is basically going to be the audio device that I will select then in the MPC software. So right now, I have this opened up, right? And I'm going to go to aggregate device 1, okay? So let me unselect everything here, okay? So, so I have this aggregate device 1, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select MPC Live 2 Audio, right? So that's giving me input channels 1 and 2. Next, I'm going to select my mixer, which is the USB audio codec. So here also in this there's an in column and an out column. You want to make sure you're going to select the in column for what you want to select. So here I have my USB audio codec. I'm going to select the input, right? So that just added channels 3 and 4 for input, okay? And then you can see here the outputs have gone all the way up to 6, okay? Because the MPC has the 3 stereos, right? So now I'm going to add the volt, okay? So now that's giving me 6 inputs here where these green and blue colors are. And then I'm going to add the scarlet. And what else? And that's going to be it for my input. So I have 8 ins, 10 outs for aggregate device 1, okay? And then you can rename it. So I'll just name this MPC software aggregate, okay? And then now what you want to do is create a multi-output device, okay? So right here I have multi-output device 1. So my multi-output device 1 is literally just gonna be my Scarlett Solo and this Black Hole 2 channel, and that's gonna deliver the audio into OBS, okay? So now I'm gonna open up my MPC. All right, so I think I got everything set up pretty good here. All right, so yeah, basically now what I'm going to show you guys is how to get these things to all work. All right, so basically we have the whole audio device set up, right? So now we're just going to go into our MPC preferences in the software here, and you're going to see that I have the MPC software aggregate device selected, and I also have the multi-output device selected for the output that we created. Okay, so now if I want to go into the sampler, so you can refer back to, if you don't remember like where all the inputs were, you can refer back to the app, the audio MIDI app, and you can look at your aggregate device. you can look at the first one, the one that you made, right? And you can look. So my USB audio codec is, let's see, is input, and it's color coded here. So 3 and 4, right? So basically what I'm going to do is, here I am in the sampler, right? I'm going to go in and I'm going to select stereo 3 and 4, right? So now this should give me my synth when I play the wave state. Alright, so what you're hearing there, this is the Korg Wavestate, blue wave, right? Now, I have the option to play the wave state with the MPC's MIDI, right? So I would go into here. Let me do it on the screen here so you guys can see. So I have a MIDI track selected. My output, select, I believe it's, okay. So you see I have it selected here, MPC Live to port 2, which is the MIDI that I have connected here. Now I'm playing the wave state with the MPC pads. Okay. But I can also go in here and I can select my other synthesizers, my Microfreak. Now I'm playing the Microfreak because the audio is routed into the mixer and the MIDI is being sent to the Microfreak. And then the Monologue, it does the same thing. I'm not going to turn it on right now. I mean, so I have this guitar, which is in the input 2 of my volt. So input 2 of the volt is input number 6, right? So I can go back into the sampler here, and then I would just go to input 6. Right? So I have the ability to basically switch between every kind of instrument that I need. My microphone is the first channel on the Volt, and I'm running that through an audio channel right now. So basically I have all my audio routed into the, either coming through the MPC or into this mixer. The audio that's routed into the MPC right now is this. I have a HOSA stereo breakout cable that I use mainly for like sampling. Sometimes I'll sample off my iPhone, and this is how I do it with this. And I can select that real quickly. So my MPC Live 2 audio are my first 2 inputs. So here I am back in the sampler, and I would just go to my stereo 1 and 2. My guitar back up. Let me find my phone real quick. Okay, so here I got my phone, right? I can open up Spotify, right? On Spotify. I don't know how good you can see that. But yeah, right? So I plug it into this, right? Now my sampler is set to 1 and 2. I have my synthesizers hooked up. I have my guitars hooked up. I have my microphone hooked up. I have everything hooked up, and I don't have to switch through audio devices. All I have to do is select a different input. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't matter, right? So I have the convenience to do that. Alright, there's that. Here's the Microfreak. So So yeah, it's really convenient, guys. If you have a MacBook, if you're using an Apple computer for any of this stuff, any music production stuff, if you're using the MPC software, this is a really easy way to just incorporate everything. Also, I just want to mention that this is not just applied to the MPC software. You could do this in Ableton. You could do this in Logic. I do this in Ableton and Logic. So all these audio devices can be used inside of another DAW. This whole principle applies to that, right? When you're using your MPC in controller mode, and if you have an audio interface that has MIDI in and MIDI out, you're now up to, you know, 3 ins and 3 outs. I know most interfaces these days, a lot of them do have MIDI as well. So when you're using the MPC in controller mode with external synthesizers and you add that to the mix, you're just in really, really good shape, guys. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I kind of just wanted to explain that workflow. If you guys have any questions or if you want to see me explain something different about this workflow, if I missed anything, let me know down in the comments and let me know what kind of stuff you guys want to see. I got some more videos coming on the way. So thank you so much for watching and have a fucking awesome day.